Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Folks, left-wing news is not news. Well, some people might say, well, Hive Mind, I think you're generalizing, but nope. Left-wing sources who claim to be doing journalism are full of it. And probably the biggest offenders in this category is, of course, TYT, the Young Turks. You know, it's interesting. I don't call myself a journalist. A lot of independent commentators on the right side of politics do editorial work, they're open about it, but you know what? Even though we do opinion, at least we delve in and try to get the facts. But a lot of the lefties out here that are doing the same work that we are, they have degrees in journalism. They call themselves journalists. Then they do total editorial, total opinion segments, and straight up get the facts wrong. Why is it on every single issue, whenever we're debating any type of sensitive cultural issue, some big scandal, a political story, why is it that lefties never actually know what's going on? And so we're talking about TYT, Anna Kasparian, and the whole Kyle Rittenhouse situation. TYT and lefties have been so opinionated.
Kyle Rittenhouse, a guy who's deeply racist, went with weapons to a Black Lives Matter protest looking to get in trouble. He did.
They've said things like Kyle Rittenhouse is a mass shooter, he's a white supremacist, blah, blah, blah. He should go to jail, he's unequivocally guilty. And then as the trial unfolds, all of a sudden, someone who fell into that category, Anna Kasparian from the TYT, is having some sort of massive revelation about one of the most basic facts about the case. We covered this last summer. All you had to do was watch the video, and it was pretty much as clear as day what happened. How are you having a revelation over a year after the incident and needing to, quote, correct the record? How are you so ill-informed on these issues that you're so opinionated about? And why is it always the left that pushes propaganda over facts and that has a total inability to look at things from a neutral perspective? Everything is racism, everything is partisan, everything left is good, everything right is bad. Facts, details, and evidence be damned. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. I mean, we are talking about some serious journalistic malpractice and, frankly, a serious level of ignorance coming from a news organization that reaches tens of millions a month. But of course, before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so Anna Kasparian from the TYT just figured out yesterday, that Kyle Rittenhouse was the one being chased rather than the one chasing.
So look, these details matter because if you're gonna make an argument that you acted in self-defense, there needs to be some proof that there was an imminent threat. Now, what really mattered to me was how all of this unfolded. What was the thing that sparked it? What started all of it? And initially, I was under the assumption that Rittenhouse was the person who was chasing after Joseph Rosenbaum, that's how it had started. But I was wrong about that, okay? So I want to correct the record. I was, in fact, wrong about that.
How are you so unarmed? You know, you generally say you're armed with the facts. How can you possibly be so unarmed with the facts? I mean, you're basically naked, unarmed and undressed. A total, and I mean total, misunderstanding of the case, and a situation that TYT and leftists that are associated have been reporting on for over a year. Literally, the night that this happened, I made 2 or 3 videos, one on my alt channel, which I was running at the time, which analyzed and dissect every single camera angle, all of the testimony. We covered what everyone was saying, witnesses, every single cell phone video that we can get our hands on. We analyzed the soundtracks to hear when the gunfire was happening, whether it was coming from different calibers, etc. We went through everything. I'm a dude who sits in front of his computer in his boxers, and I got the story right because I cared. I cared about what actually happened. I wasn't looking at this situation from the outlook of, oh well, Kyle Rittenhouse probably represents my political beliefs, therefore I have to defend him. If he was wrong, I would immediately say this guy should be condemned totally. Lefties don't do the same thing. It's why we see them on the street protesting for people who point firearms at police officers. They don't actually care about the facts. I'm one guy standing in front of a cheap $50 microphone in my boxers at home, getting the story straight. Anna Kasparian and TYT are running a massive studio with researchers and interns, $20 million plus in funding from, I don't know, some billionaire or something. And they literally can't for 2 seconds sit down the night of the events, look at the video evidence and look at it objectively. And all of a sudden, during the trial, I'm gonna have to issue a correction that literally changes the entire narrative I've been pushing for over a year, that essentially Kyle was on the defensive, basically admitting that the leftist narrative is total junk. I mean, they're narratives. And the prosecution's case against Kyle is falling apart faster than Joe Biden's brain cells. And of course, speaking of that exact idea, Gage Grosskreutz, the guy who chased down Kyle and pointed a firearm at him, only after to have his bicep essentially blown off, was the state prosecution's key witness. And after the last two witnesses, I mean, the prosecution needed a serious win. Well, let's just say it didn't exactly go too well. In fact, just like Anna Kasparian, number one state witness Gage Grosskreutz essentially admitted that Kyle acted in self-defense. Take a look at this clip.
That's a photo of you, yes?
Yes.
Okay. That's Mr. Rittenhouse?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you'd agree your firearm is pointed at Mr. Rittenhouse, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And once your firearm is pointed at Mr. Rittenhouse, that's when he fires his gun. Yes?
No.
Sir, look, I don't want to... Does this look like right now your arm is being shot?
That looks like my bicep being vaporized, yes.
Okay. And it's being vaporized as you're pointing your gun directly at him. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so when you were standing 3 to 5 feet from him with your arms up in the air, he never fired, right?
Correct.
It wasn't until you pointed your gun at him, advanced on him, with your gun, now your hands down, pointed at him, that he fired, right?
Correct.
The case is over. Last week, the FBI released footage that shows that Kyle was being chased. It shows that he was shot at first. This week, we had a witness state that Rosenbaum issued death threats towards Kyle and his friends before chasing them down. It was, quote, hyper-aggressive. The other individual was yelling expletives and lunged at Kyle after another individual hit him on the head with a skateboard. And then Gage Grosskreutz essentially admits that he aimed a firearm at him, and only then, only after, was his bicep, quote, vaporized. The case is over. It should have never gone to court in the first place. The charges that the state filed against Kyle are absolutely gross and inaccurate. It was a political prosecution. It remains a political prosecution. And now we're even getting to the point where the trial might even be tainted, as George Floyd's nephew makes a video threatening jurors if they do not convict Kyle Rittenhouse.
I ain't even gonna name the people that I know that's up in the Kenosha trial. But there's cameras in there. It's definitely cameras up in there, and there's definitely people taking pictures of the juries and everything like that. We know what's going on. So we need the same results, man. We need the same results. Justice for Dante Wright, justice for Alston.
And just to confirm that, we now have the judge of the case itself saying that someone tried to dox the jury in the Kyle Rittenhouse case.
It was reported to me that by Lieutenant Zerline that this morning at the pickup there was someone there and was video recording the jury, which the officers approached the person and required him, her, I didn't even ask, to delete the video and return the phone to him. I've instructed that if it happens again, they're to take the phone and bring it here. So that's for your information.
What you are seeing, folks, is not justice. What you are seeing is a political prosecution. And now even the left-wing partisans essentially admit that the case was BS from the start. It's another situation where right-wingers were looking at this thing objectively, saying what are the facts, what actually happened, who is the victim and who is the perpetrator, but where the Democrats already had their conclusion of guilty and just had to twist the story and spread propaganda, like Kyle chased or Kyle went there with the intent to shoot. Kyle had political motives for being there and was targeting individuals, having to invent absolute nonsense, propaganda, lies, and smears in order to justify the guilty verdict that in their minds was already predetermined. It's absolutely despicable, folks. But but of course not at all surprising, coming from the modern political left. That's what I got for you guys though. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share it as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm. I gotta get back to work though. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.